Alright, so one night me and my dad were watching the Jay Leno show. And Jay Leno came on, his normal asshole way, like, walking around. And then he goes up like the camera with his like opening line and he's like, "Hey, have you guys hear about Dad's latest killing? Yeah, he like brutally slaughtered a whole bunch of people." And this one Jewish lady turned completely inside out and stole her skeleton. Yeah, we must have had a bone to pick with her. And then that's almost as bad as his last album. And I look over to my dad, and I was shitting my pants, because no one's ever said anything that mean about him. So I look over, and he's just gone, and all that's left is like part of the skeleton of the Jewish lady he stole. And so I look back at the TV, and all I see is like the cameraman, like, just like, oh, here's the cameraman, like, screaming for a man to like step back. And Jay Leno's like behind his desk crying. You can hear him crying because he's crying really loudly. Then all you hear is like this weird like crunching noise. Then like the body of the cameraman goes flying at Jay Leno. And it hits the desk and there's like blood everywhere now. Then Dad grabs the camera and he's like, "If you're watching this, you're a cunt!" And he like smashes the camera. And then I'm like, "Oh fuck," so I get in his black truck because he took the red one. And I start driving down to the studio, which is like a 20-hour drive. And eventually I get there, and when I go in the studio, all I see is Jay Leno crucified, but like hanging upside down as well as him being upside down. And then I hear Dad playing the song "The Monk of Hitler" from the album he was mocking. And so like all I hear from like the outside is like the then I like see like Jay Leno start glowing, and he's glowing like this black red color. And then I see like the spirit come up, and then Dad bursts through the wall. He's like, "He's here!" And then Hitler like manifests from the smoke, and he like touches Jay Leno, and then Jay Leno like just explodes. And Hitler turns to me, and he's like, and then Dad's like, "No!" And Dad like punches me out of the way, and then like Hitler's hand touches my dad's forehead, and then Dad explodes, and I'm like, "What the fuck?" So I like start running out of the studio. Then I hear Hitler like chanting in ancient German, right? And then I just like stop, but I couldn't control myself. So I turn around, I start walking towards him, and like I know some ancient German. In ancient German he said like, "Come here, my son." I was like, "What the fuck?" And before I can get to him, Hitler turned into my dad. Like he just like morphed from Hitler to my dad, and then my dad was like, "You are my son." My dad picked me up and he carried me out of the studio. Then he saw Conan O'Brien walking down the path to his like studio, and he just dropped me and ran over to Conan. He's like, Conan, I love you." He's like, "Who the fuck are you?" And then my dad's like, I'm Dad. You featured me on your show." He's like, "I don't remember you." And I was like, "You remember me!" So he just breaks his legs off, starts beating him with them. He's like, "Do you remember me now?" And he's like, oh, he couldn't breathe because like his windpipe had collapsed from one of the blows to his neck. And it's like, "Talk!" He like squeezes his head just pops off. And he like takes his body. He takes Jay Leno's body and Conan O'Brien's bodies back to our house and framed them over the fireplace. And he was so proud that day because he had killed 2 famous TV hosts. And all he has to do now is kill like Justin Bieber, and his collection of assholes is complete.